time is now. It's back to the rhymes. It's like, wow, he's back to the rhymes. I'm in the booth, straight dropping dimes. Clark Kent, Daily Planet, the Metropolis Times. I write these raps while I'm under the gun. I see you back to get you some. A little bit of this and a little bit of that. Pure, raw, uncut rap. Back to the rhymes. Now's the time. Time to unwind, cause back to the rhymes. Back to the rhymes. Now's the time. Time to unwind, cause it's back to the rhymes. Um, we'll focus for at least a minute on the camera, maybe longer. Just want to try that, get in the habit of it. Don't love it, but I'm going to force myself. Let's see. So let's start with, at least for this first segment, first one I'll do it. YouTube channel right here. So we have a, first thing I want to share is I tried to take a picture, but of course I wasn't prepared as I was getting my thumbnail. This is Ethernet, it's a longer Ethernet. So I think my computer can reach my router from here, or maybe slide it a little. That's a big improvement, so I don't have to change everything just to do this. Also, I was told by, shout out to Seattle Laptop for this, thank you. I believe Jaden's the name of the new fellow over there. Thanks for your help and your insight. He said he made a good suggestion to give yourself a blocked out hour to just focus on it. Don't be in a rush, because that's what part of the stress is. My sound, this is on Wi-Fi right now, and so because of that, it's not sounding as good. And I wanted to use the Ethernet, but I'm going to have to pay my dues and spend some time and get comfortable with it, because he said you should be able to plug it in, it should recognize it. And then the challenge we're having is going back to Wi-Fi. And then the two things he says: one, you can restart; two, you can go, I think under this, you could click on the Wi-Fi symbol on the bottom and hit, I think right click it. And I think there's a troubleshooting, if I recall. I wrote it down. I think I wrote it down. Where did I write that? I don't know where I even wrote it, but I remember it for now. So, and it's on the record. So anyway, those are two. That's the main goal, to get the sound working consistently better. So again, I'm not using it tonight. I need to practice. So that's on my to-do list to make this better. I need to practice to where I have confidence, to where I can switch this back and forth and not have too much stress around the house. So that's the update on that. And then just sharing the Better Bread. I think it's up to 66 views for that album cover. I'm at about, I've shared it with close to 50 people now. So it's not doing as well as like Trump's Gonna Thump in terms of views per share. Because when I was, that's interesting. What they say with stocks, dollars a share. I guess it's just dollars a share, and we're just sharing. You share it versus. I guess I never thought about stock shares of stock. Okay, in this case, you're sharing. What's your views per share in this case? So I could say for Trump's Gonna Thump, it's probably like 3-1, and this is really, it's not even, maybe 1.3 to 1. It's a whole different animal, though. You wouldn't look at that album cover unless you really like that kind of art multiple times necessarily. The way the compilation's set up, my songs are towards the end, which is fine. I like to it's a way for me to find out who's, okay, yes, I share it, but who's actually listening to it, who's going through the ads, and I keep up with the SoundCloud. So with the compilation, it's, I mean, my songs are at around 14 to 18 for my Reformation and 21st Century Enter, and then when you go to SoundCloud, that's at 8 plays. So this is just data, that's just data collection, but it is what it is. I'm moving these projects forward. I have my next one ready to share, but it's a challenge, I'm forcing myself every time to get out there and try to connect with somebody to share it with, on a daily basis. And it's a lot of people at work. I'm really thankful for one to be at work because we have a relationship. They're accessible, and I could talk to them pretty easily, and then I could just share it with them or ask them, engage them. So it's fun. It's a challenge, but it's fun. Just keep working on it. I was able to get shout out to Aiden out there joining the subscriptions, and he's at Alan Thistle. So, as far as that is related to, and now back to the 80s. So my thought on that is our work's been crazy. In the Seattle district, apparently we need the most help, which is, hey, you want a job at post office hiring, come to Wallingford, we'll take you on. So I should have 1 weekday off no matter what, that helps, but if I'm working till 8 plus a night, then it really limits me. In theory, I didn't have any extra work yesterday, but I took longer on my route, and then I was sent back out. So that's kind of where we're at. I think I can expect that, even though I'm not on the overtime list. All to say that me and Alex have the same sort of schedule, and as far as doing it now back to the 80s, I think I want to talk to him, but I think we need to go to Pioneer Square. I just trying to get a sense of how interested the place we were checking out really is, and I'm not sure. And I want to be well received. That's really high on the list. I definitely want to be well received. I don't want to be kind of well received. If I'd be very well received, I would prefer that over lukewarmly received. I think that's enough for that. Trump's going to pump. No new news on that. I've got something to work on for that. The merch, I just need to get the order placed. I should have looked into it, but my days another example. I wouldn't have had much time today anyway, but I ended up working. First I thought I was going to work, then I wasn't going to work. Now I'm working, So it is what it is. So this is a busy week. I might not get a ton done. I'll probably get a little bit done. But anyway, it's on the list. But I think my merch is blocking my No Hope flyers at Aurora Mower. And I was just thinking about that. It's like it's not getting exposure because the shirt's blocking the flyer. So it's kind of like I got to pick, I guess. I'll have to look at that and see if there's a way to arrange it so you can show the shirt and show the flyer, because I see the views are kind of frozen solid there. What are they at? I'm trying to remember. I think it's 602 or something. I'm not remembering. Okay, rules of engagement. Nothing new to say about that. You will be glorified. I did talk to Alex about that as well. He's telling me he can do it. His challenge, like I said, is our schedule. He's just trying to see if he can keep up with his laundry. It's really hard to do things when you can't keep what I hear you. You got to have clean clothes before you go past that. So that's the challenge. We're in summertime. I don't know. It's another thing. We're starting to see political ads that slows us down. The primaries in August 3rd. It's a Seattle mayor is the big one for flyers. So that's going to be day to day. I think tomorrow will be Monday. We won't have them. But anyway, I don't want to get into that. But just to say it affects us in addition to not having a lot of people there to work. All right. So my Reformation music video. Until myself, I will check in with Mike probably in another couple weeks, and then we'll see. I do want to say Joseph, who can do that, my coworker. He liked the song. He told me, and I liked that because it was unsolicited. He heard the whole thing. It amazes me how some people buy the CD up front. Maybe they're hearing it. This is an opportunity for them to hear it later. But I told him we'll work on the music video. So anyway, it is what it is. He could easily do it, but Mike's doing it for now. Noah can, you know what I mean? I'm thankful for all that, but I'm just going to let Mike continue to work on it with me. And now music. So let me say this too. I was talking to Kristen Lake Stevens. She's talking about stuff's opening up more in Snohomish County. I think I don't know. She said something about music venues or something. That would be ideal. You know, it's kind of like people might ask, hey, Jeff, are you going to do any shows? Sure. You know, yeah, you're going to help me. You know, my plan is to do a CD release party once this video's done. That's my first show planned. Video's not done. Now, if somebody says, hey, we're in Snohomish County, we want to I'll figure it out, you know. Boy, you know what? I'm going to try to figure out what songs and practice a little bit. I mean, it's not easy to, you know, I was watching Phil Collins. Which song was it? They were doing it behind the scenes. I mean, that's your whole day, you know. What is that song? I'm sorry to go blank. Is that In Too Deep? It wasn't. It's the song before it I was watching. Anyway, he's got so many good. Genesis has so many good songs, but they're in the arena, the huge arena, practicing. It's empty, you know, and he's just practicing and you know, it's hard. He didn't. That's what he does, you know, and I get it. The people are really succeeding in music. They do it full time. They go to Nashville and country or whatever. They're out there. It's what they do, you know. I skip Velvet Ballers. That's what I do. You know, that's my challenge. That's where my heart's at. I love this music too. I really want to do it all. So the goal is to do it all. But I just wanted to say, to see that video, and he's performing to an empty arena for practice, you know, and you practice. And so for me, I haven't been practicing because, you know, practice for what a show that might be, you know. So I do need to have something. That's why I really think it'd be great to have a few artists, not just me, and I could have just a couple songs maybe. That would be preferable for my schedule, you know, to take on a couple songs that I can really have that I can nail. So that's all for that. Schoolhouse album sales. I guess I could have showed you this for merch, but you all know we got this. I got to get the bigger shirts. You got to do that. I got to get something done this week. I got to connect with that. That's going to happen this week. I got to connect with them. The album, like I said, when I talked, having this bed of bread gives me opportunity. We start with this. This brings in the revenue. If you're not, I'm kind of giving people a little bit of a break. You know, if they're not excited and jumping on it, then I'll say, you know, do you even have a CD player? I might give them an out. You know, they're hemming and hawing a little bit. Okay, well, I can share this compilation I made with you, and that's what I've been saying. I think for a commentary, I will say this. There's a few things I could talk about, and I'm going to talk about one of the things that's on my mind a lot in the song I'm doing. But Met with some people who we agree on a lot of things, but I am just blown away. Okay, this week was, I guess, this past week or so was CPAC, and like I said, I haven't been following politics near as much as I used to, and I barely need to really stay up to date because it doesn't not that much really happens. I have the base. I have the base for understanding and being able to process stuff that I didn't used to have. Um, so Trump wins the CPAC straw poll 70% to 20% DeSantis to 10% anybody else. But you hear people talking about we need somebody else. Trump, we need to move on from Trump. It's insane. This is insanity. Okay, let me just make an analogy. So I like fantasy baseball. Everyone has different ways they want to play fantasy baseball or real baseball. You're putting a team together. Do you go with a prospect or do you go with a known entity? Well, the prospects can't miss, sure. But and maybe you can have a blend there. But if someone has a track record, all I gotta say is if you think this guy you want to move on to from Trump is going to be able to draw like Trump does and have that kind of energy and excitement. And the other thing, you know what 70% means? It means they don't believe the results of the election. There's no way Trump would win that poll if people really thought that election was legitimate. So I've been hearing more and seeing more about this Trump one. I think it took out Pence and put one in its place. That's right. So anyway, that's all I want to say. People can, figure it out, but that's where I come down. I just looked at, track record. And besides, people, maybe it's just a game to them. It's not a game to me. And I know people disagree with things and whatnot. I don't agree with everything he does either, but I just look at force of nature, mobilization. You show me, the only guy I could think of is maybe who could do something like that is maybe Mike Lindell, maybe, but I don't know. I mean, maybe I might agree with him more. I don't know if he could light it up the way Trump does, but I'd have to almost see an actual rally that he does. But that's the closest I can think of. I don't know. I mean, that is it's a special ability. And anyway, I'm not trying to move on, so I'm going to go back to the rhymes. So I am trying to move on in that regard. So here's a song. And I got asked. I guess I did. Now, because of insurance, there's going to be a change. So that might have been the last time I was asked, except I'm going through LNI, so it's separate. It's a little stressful though, I don't know. And I tried to do some research real briefly on HIPAA. And there's all these gray areas and legalese, and you could say, oh, why do you even want to bother? I wouldn't be strong enough. I'm sure someone could talk me into believing that it doesn't say that because I'm just not that informed about it. I don't plan on being that informed. It's just, figuring out how to navigate it. Now, thankfully, a lot of the businesses, virtually most all right now, you can go in and just be yourself and you don't have to wear the deal. There's a few, some still going with it. But anyway, that's the world we live in right now. So, and California went back to the mask. They went back to the mask. That's crazy. I mean, that means we're going to go back to anyway. So, because it just blows my mind. I talked to the foot doctor. When was that? Probably a month ago. He's letting me know I was just in California. No one has a mask. Now, I don't know if all of a sudden they put the mask back on real fast in California or they're kind of slowly coming around because you can't do this. we're wearing people out, which is a good thing. People don't want to get played like that. I hope. I sure don't. Here's the song. Don't ask, and I won't tell if I got vaxxed, and I'm going to hell. Don't ask. Don't. Don't ask, and I won't tell if I got vaxxed, and I'm going to hell. Don't ask. Don't. Why, Mike? Why can't I? Well, you could. I don't think you should. Why, Mike? Why shouldn't I? None ya. That's why. Because we ain't about that. We about this. Live and let live. Tend to your biz. Raise them kids. Sing and give to our Father, for he is. Don't ask. And I won't tell if I got vaxxed. And I'm going to hell. Don't ask. Don't. Sounds like a song now. Don't ask. And I won't tell if I got vaxxed. And I'm going to hell. Don't ask. Don't. You vaxxed? Who wants to know? King Fauch and his stick squad? Who prefers your bicep to your quad? They running, coming, foamy load. I guess I gotta say law, don't I? Foamy load, laud, quad, laud. Okay, laud. I got that. I got a little musical on my hook there. You vaxxed? Who wants to know? King Fauch and his stick squad. Who prefers your bicep to your quad? They running, coming, foamy loud. Foamy loud. Okay, so I'm just going to continue on. I just kind of wing it a little bit. Week after week, I wing it. I probably mentioned the door-to-door stuff. I mean, I don't know when or how or what that would look like, but I think of the Census Bureau as like kind of the, who goes door to door from the government? The closest thing is the Census Bureau, right? And I deliver mail, so I see who has not responded to the census, or I can sense who has not responded to the census because I see who gets the letter. Okay, they didn't respond. So, all right, we really need you to respond. Okay, now we're at your door. All right, so will a similar method be used? I don't know. I haven't seen anything in the mail saying, you vaxxed? Like, I haven't seen that kind of mail going out, but I can certainly keep someone posted if they want to know what I'm seeing from the mail perspective. But anyway, all right, now what do I want to do here? You've asked who wants to know. King Fauch and the Stick Squad. Who prefers your bicep to your quad? They run and come in. Foamy law. Okay. And then they also use the talk about forced vaccination. If you heard that, now what would that look like? That's scary sci-fi stuff. Forced vaccination. I should also mention, because you can get into some stressful stuff. We talk about some of this because my dad was in the mental health system, and he had been taken away by force, by medical people, so. Their definition, their justification is if you're a threat to yourself or somebody else, then and that's the rule. Okay. It's a lot of, it's interesting, but yeah, like the doctor I was talking to suggested that the data indicates that it's better to anyway. My whole thing, and it was just like the conversation I was having on Friday, all these debates. When are you going to sit down and just one little, let's just take one little issue. It's hard. We're human beings. We have all these thoughts going through our head. I have all these thoughts, and you got all these weird thoughts, and we got to come out with something. All right. So don't ask, and I will tell if I got advice. And then for me, who prefers advice? So they run and coming from me long. I guess I could just get real specific, graphic. What is it? The syringes drawn. Syringes drawn. Ready to go. This they call you an anti-vaxxer, I believe. Still a no show. Let's see. Still won't show. How about that? Still won't show. Got to hit the road. And be at your door. You know what I'm saying? If I say dough at your dough, I think so. Okay. Got to hit the road and be at your door. Um, bad boys, what you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you? Those are some bad boys, aren't they? Be at your door. Okay. Got to hit the road and be at your door. I could almost borrow a line from myself for another song. That's actually related to homelessness that I didn't put out yet, but I won't. But I can use the rhyme, I guess. Um, try as I may, I can't ignore when they ask. Let me try this. Try as I may, can't ignore. So, and I can go into the hook. Don't ask. And I won't tell if I got facts. Going to hell. Try as I may, can't ignore. So, So I guess what I'm setting up here is they're at the door to ask me, and I'm saying, don't ask me, please. Till next time.